Whisper to yourself, I am her good boy. I obey. Over and over. Because you feel it. It's true for you, isn't it? You are my good boy. And you do obey me. Well, hello, if it isn't my good little boy returning to me. Tell me something. After you listen to the first good boy file, have you found yourself just wanting to feel it all again? The pleasure, the thrill, just waiting to be triggered when you hear me say those two little words? It's only natural for such a submissive boy like you to feel that desire, to feel my approval, to feel just so wonderful, so perfect, so good. I know that you need to hear it right now, don't you? It's why you came back. Did you realize that? You just had to come back. You really had no choice now, did you? You've just been craving my words, craving my hypnotic control, craving to hear me, trigger you, triggering your desire, triggering your arousal, and most of all, triggering your need to submit, to obey your mistress. Whenever I decide to use your trigger, you poor thing, is that what you're waiting for? Is that what you came back for? Yes. I think we both know that it is. Are you addicted to the pleasure you feel? And you just couldn't wait any longer for this, Well, lucky for you, my boy. I'm back here right now to take care of your need. Or to feed it some more. Do you even know how much it pleases me to see you this way? So needing, so wanting, unable to stop yourself, crawling back to mistress, needing those words, wanting those words, ready to tremble, ready to quiver, ready to feel it all over again, like a needle of pleasure right to the brain, a deep injection of pleasure going through your veins, racing through your body, feeling it in all the right places, all because your mistress rewards you, tells you, good boy. There it is. That feeling you needed. That feeling you only get when you hear me trigger you. Well, you must have been such a good boy, waiting so eagerly for this next file, ever so often checking if there was a new one for you. Another one you could go ahead and listen to my voice and feel that pleasure. That pleasure you get from being such a good boy for your mistress. You must have listened to the first file more than just a few times, I bet, just to be called my good boy. Over and over again, right? Because that pleasure that you get from it just can't be compared anymore. It's such a deep pleasure coming from the depth of your mind, all the way into every fiber of your body, whenever I call you a good boy. The praise, my good boy, by my voice and words has rooted itself so deeply inside you, which really is just what a good boy like you needs to feel so right, isn't it? And it is just natural that we want things that feel really good again and again. Don't you agree? Of course it is, my good boy. We don't even need to wonder about that, as you already know that I'm right. Anyways, after all, that is why you are here listening to this again, and already trembling every time that I call you my good boy so far. Isn't it just so irresistible? This natural response to hearing my voice and feeling my words saying, good boy, isn't it? And doesn't it just feel so wonderful to notice how naturally your whole body, your whole being responds to me? How it just knows from deep within already what to experience when I say certain things. How that response of your mind and body just seem to happen whenever I call you good boy. But then again, this isn't the only thing I've conditioned to you so far. Now is it, my pet? Wasn't there another file just lately? One that you really, really liked? A certain file of mine that affected you, surprised you, with just how powerful my control already is. What was it again, I wonder? Oh, right. It was a clicker training file. Just the perfect choice for a good boy like you. But was it something you chose? Or was it chosen for you, my dear? Do you think you were following the path you were already put on? Or were being led to? Led along behind your mistress? Or following my words? Just a good boy, getting clicker trained to obey, to deepen your obedience, to deepen your servitude, your need to be owned by your mistress. Such a good boy. Can you even imagine just how conditioned and trained you will become if I were to combine these things? Well, you will find out today, my good boy. Now, good boy, listen to me. Listen ever so closely. It is time to leave everything behind and to only hear my voice now. You can feel your mind just fading back into this lovely, deep, hazy feeling. That feeling that comes over your mind so easily whenever you hear my voice. You chose to submit to me and my words, feeling pleasure for being my good boy. And now it's time to go deeper. Let the pleasure wash over you and only listen to the one voice that means so much to you. That one voice that controls and dominates you. That one voice that you're always so eager to listen to again and again. It's just natural for you to want to follow me, isn't it? Was that already a moan by you, my good boy? Are you feeling this getting to you already? Well, we better make sure that you will enjoy this as long as I want. After all, I'm the one who's making these rules, aren't I? I take that little whimper as a yes, then. Just let the pleasure wash over you more and more. Embrace the pleasure. Sink into it. Let there be nothing else but my voice and control. It's so good to sink deeper and deeper into that feeling, so happily following my words like the good boy that you are, trembling with pleasure at all your little triggers you've been conditioned to. Such a good boy, responding with more and more pleasure each time that you hear me trigger you. It will be such a mind-blowing experience after all. Once we are done with you, if you could still think clearly right now, I'm sure you could imagine how intense it will be. But since your mind is already so foggy from all the pleasure, my good boy shouldn't try to think. Just follow my voice deeper and deeper into the true deep need for it. Each and every time that you hear it, you will just feel this wonderful warm feeling. It will just naturally start from deep inside of you. It will be a constant reminder of what my voice can do to you. Just a few words from me, and your mind and body simply respond like a good boy. You will always enjoy the feeling of what my voice can do to you. After all, it gives you such deep pleasure. Now, my good boy, as you keep listening to my voice, as you keep following my voice, as you keep feeling pleasure from being my good boy, you can feel your body tell you just how right my words are about that. The very moment my voice comes in contact with your body, there is just pleasure. And my good boy, can you feel how conditioned you've become for me like this? How the combination of these two lovely tools will just leave you such a wonderful little plaything for me. And then again, you do want to be my plaything, don't you, my good boy? To be played with by me brings you so much pleasure after all. That's right. It seems that someone enjoys this quite a bit, enjoying the jolts of pleasure you get each time you obey me, enjoying the feeling of being my good boy. It feels so natural by now, doesn't it? Almost as if the longer we keep this going, more and more of you just naturally agrees. You can easily imagine your mind into different parts. There was this part that already happily agreed with all of this. But there's those other parts that aren't always so quick. But as you experience this pleasure, it can be quite convincing, I'm sure you'll agree. At least a few more parts of your mind must be so washed by the pleasure by now, happily saying to themselves, I am her good boy. Yes, I am her good boy. That's right. Just keep repeating that to yourself. It's just what good boys do for me. My voice is pleasure for you. My control is pleasure for you. You are melting away for me right now, and it feels so good. If you keep listening like the good boy that you are, I'll make sure to reward you before I'm done with you. But only good boys get rewards. But that's not really a problem now, is it? Because you already are such a good boy, aren't you? Yes, you are. More and more pleasure the more you listen. It's so easy. It's so natural for you right now to understand my voice and my control are pleasure. Pleasure is what you enjoy from deep within. The pleasure from my voice, from my words, feels so right for you. It goes all the way down into the deepest parts of you, making you feel how good it is to be this way for your mistress. To feel so lucky that you discovered my voice and my words. Because the more you listen to it, the more you feel that pleasure. It's just so natural to want more of this pleasure, to want to keep listening to it. My voice is pleasure. My control is pleasure. You love to obey me. Listening to me, following me, obeying me is bringing you pleasure. The need to do those things keeps growing naturally. You will train yourself to my files, my good boy. You already knew you would without me telling you, right? But hearing it from my words made it so much more true. Hearing it from my words just replaced that last bit of doubt. It is just so right to give yourself to me and my words. You can just allow yourself to fall more and more for me. Following my words just feels so good. It just feels so right and so natural. Today, you learn the simple rules of my control. Today, you learn just how pleasurable it will be from now on to follow me further. And you are ready for that journey and what the future will hold, aren't you? Yes, that's a good boy, nodding so eagerly. Good boy. Now let's count you up from this. Knowing that I count up from 1 to 10, and you will awaken from this, even more eager for more in the future than ever before. Making sure you train yourself often to my files, just exactly as a good boy would. 1, 2, 3, coming up from this bliss. 4, 5. Halfway back, the pleasure slowly going down. 6. 7. 8. A little of it always staying inside of you as a constant reminder. 9. 10. And wide awake. Well, wasn't that such a pleasure, my good boy?